Welcome to Soul Infused Monday. And wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. If you see and hear me clearly, leave a comment, say hello. Tell me where in the world you are. And my apologies that I was not here last week on Monday. Me not going live means really something. So I've not been doing that well last week. And today I'm super excited to be back here with you again. And I know it always takes a moment for people to jump in and for the live feed to actually stream. So please let me know that you're here and see me. And if you have any questions throughout this show, leave a comment and I will definitely get back to you on them. And if you're new to me and to my show, this is Soul Infused Monday. My name is Sonia Bueno de la Torre, and I'm here to help you connect with yourself, help you love and trust yourself, and to live your most authentic self. And all of that by being in alignment with your soul and making a difference in the world. So who is here today? And I want to talk about a few things today, reflecting back on the last couple of weeks. So sometimes we get to go to exotic places, to beautiful vacations, beautiful islands, and sometimes you take a trip to hell. So it's all part of the world, all part of the human experience. And hi Alyssa, so glad that you could make it. Who else is here? Yeah, just leave me a comment below and say hello, send me some love. And so when I say a trip to hell, it sounds like very dramatic, but sometimes we want to convey things a little dramatic because they are as they are. I'm very transparent as a coach, as a person, as a woman, and in order for us to be really authentically who we are and to love ourselves and to have joy and aliveness and freedom in our life, there's a way to get there, right? And often it's underestimated, or sometimes it's not really shown what it takes. And so, and I'm not sharing that I took a trip to hell so that I get any pity or anything. I was really sick. And I'm going to talk about this in a minute because I have a different approach to it. And what I do not want is any, oh, I'm so sorry, or, that type of energy, because that's not the reason why I'm sharing this. It's not even about me. It's about my experience in the last couple of weeks, and including when I was sharing my vulnerable, most traumatic breast story in public, and the conversations that I had since then with women, friends, women that I know very closely, women that I don't know very closely. And what I realized is that when we dare to open up and share openly, vulnerably, honestly, is that it gives permission for others to do the same. And just because I mentioned that, when I shared that super painful story about my decision when I was 16 and I decided to get that breast reduction because I felt so horrible about myself, about my body, about having breasts at all. And I was 16 years old, I didn't know better. And that led to so much pain and to so much shame. Like the shame is one of the worst things for us to deal with. And I'm sharing this with you because I was talking to a friend and she's not on Facebook. So I shared the story with her because she didn't know that about me. And so she was listening, and at some point she says, oh my God, Sonia, I'm going to share something with you that I usually don't talk to about anyone. She has breast implants and she is very ashamed of it. And she is so ashamed of it that even though she did it for a certain reason, there's always a moment of her hiding it and pretending it's not true. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, that I've spoken to a lot of women, and of course I've been doing this work for 20 years. I've talked to hundreds of women all over the world. And every time it's amazing to me that we all have a story. We all have a story that is related to shame, pain, and even though it might not be in our conscious daily life anymore, it affects you still. So, having shared all of that, when I said I was super sick, sick for me, like it's not that I had a cold or, food poisoning or something. It was an energetical phenomena because I was treating something, I was doing a clearing, something very advanced that goes deep into neuroplasticity with my healers, and you never know the reaction or the healing crisis that can occur. Little did I know what it would do to me. Because what it did, it opened up new layers that could come up from the past, including viral parasites and all of the pathogen stuff, and yet all of that was related to trauma from the past. So I was in severe physical pain that I have not experienced in years. I think maybe physical pain that I've not experienced since all those surgeries that I went through. And I consciously chose to go through it because I knew it was good for me. I knew it wasn't really something physical that was going on. I knew it was an energetical cleanse, an energetical process that got triggered, but a very old wound. So even though it was so painful, I knew it would be good in the end. However, going through it was really, really, really tough. Like there were days that I was in so much pain that I couldn't get up. I barely couldn't walk. And in those moments, the one thing that really was important to me is that I trusted and I knew I was doing this consciously. Most people would, I share this only afterwards because when I'm in it, like we say, Sonia, go to the hospital, something is wrong with you, you need to take this, you need to do that. And I don't need that energy because I trust myself and I make conscious choices and I knew I would be fine. And it took longer than I thought it would. And funny enough, an old trauma came out that was related to the story that I told you just a few weeks ago about the traumatic breast reduction story. And I want to share that with you because in so many ways you are not even aware what's actually hitting you and why. And I just want to open up to my comments real quick. If you have any questions or any comments, just please go ahead. I just see them now. Alyssa, Ada, hi Amanda, Gail, Alyssa, transferring is crucial. Personal experience. Because it might resonate with you. Also to give you an understanding on what happened to you in the past is still affecting you today if you are consciously aware or not. So the reason that I've decided when I was 16 years old to do something so horrible to my body, to cut myself off from the most natural part of my body as being a woman, came from a very wounded, a very hurt place. I felt lonely. I felt abandoned. I felt unlovable. I felt I wasn't worth it. And then the beliefs that we carry underneath that get created is that I deserve to be punished. And I know it might make no logical sense. However, the unforgiveness piece is also huge. So leading to that point, whatever you've done in your life, I'm sure there's something in your life that you either are ashamed or that you've made a decision that you regret or that you're still having a hard time share and be open about it because it just brings up so much embarrassment. Maybe it's something that you had to go to surgery through cancer. I spoke to so many women. And this is not about only women and only this area of your body. However, it's shocking. It's shocking how many women hate their bodies, hate their femininity, compare themselves constantly, even with like the most mind-blowing thing that even a couple of days ago, a friend of mine that I told her the story, and she looks at me and she says, Sonia, she said, thank you so much for sharing. I'm just kind of like mind blown away from what you shared, because when I look at you, I compare myself with you, and I think you have the most gorgeous body, the most beautiful boobs. And like she said it in a way that was like, huh? What you talking about, right? So we women do this all the time, right? So number one, and I said that so many times, stop comparing yourself. Stop comparing yourself with anyone and anything. Women even compare themselves with men. You know, I have a client who's successful in business, and she's discovering more her feminine part. She wants to be confident in a feminine way, in an authentic way. And what's operating internally is like we compare ourselves how men do the business, and then they think they have to do it the same way. And I know I'm sidetracking a little bit right now, but stop comparing yourself. Start sharing more. Dare. In a safe place. Because here's the thing, and most people won't tell you this, and even most gurus out there won't tell you this. First of all, it takes work. It's painful, and you will get hurt. You say, well, great, Sonia, thank you for sharing that. Why in the world would I do the work then? It's because it creates freedom. It's because it creates joy. It creates everything you want. And as soon as you can embrace and surrender to the fact that it's not always easy and that pain is inevitable, but suffering is totally optional. Totally optional. However, facing those pains, facing the wounds, and no matter how much work you've done, you think there's not one person that comes to me that works with me that has not done work before. Why? Because they come to a place where they came a certain way, but they feel stuck or want to go deeper. And I hear this so often. Oh my Sonia, I've done so much work already. But I've done so many things already. I hear this over and over again, and I have total compassion for it, because I was one of them years ago that I was saying, yeah, but I've worked on this already. I worked on this already. I worked on this here like for so long that at some point it wasn't even an issue. However, now through this process, another layer came up for me for healing. And this is 30 years ago. So I'm not saying that to discourage you. I'm saying this to give you hope and for you to let go of those thoughts and those self-sabotaging words of, oh yeah, but I've done this already, or oh, I've done so much work already. It's so useless to say, because you are on the path. If you are on the path, if you are on a healing journey, it's a journey for a lifetime. That doesn't mean I feel so good right now. I feel so good right now in my life. And just a couple of days ago, I was in such severe pain that I couldn't get out of bed. And this is just a metaphor on what the journey applies. If you are waiting for someone who's just going to fix things for you, or does a little energy clearing so that you don't have to face anything, that you don't have to go through things, you are not going to get to the place you want to be. Because if it would be so easy, everybody would do it all the time, and this planet would be already healed by now. So there's nothing bad with pain. There's nothing wrong with pain. There's nothing negative with pain. It's our conditioning and our approach and our, inability to deal with pain in a good way, in a supportive way. Pain is totally okay. Pain is necessary for us to grow. It's necessary for us to expand. The suffering, the hiding, the shame, the being imprisoned with your own stuff, that's totally unnecessary. However, you get to go through the pain to go through the other side. Does this make sense? I've been like, does this resonate with you? Do you have any question? Let me know where you're at with this. Let me see. I have so many comments here right now. I didn't even look at them yet. Okay, so I'm going to take some time to check. And hi, Kim. It's so true that we do this in regards to our body, struggle with it all the time, catching myself comparing all the time. Yeah, we're all the same. You know, the beautiful thing is, we often try to do this all by ourselves. We hide, we pretend, we think it's only us. No, it's part of the process. And you get to, in a collective, we are changing this together. Amber, thanks for sharing. You're very welcome. Kim, start sharing more. It's very important. I have learned this working with you. Thank you. You're so welcome, Kim. Yes. And Kim was I don't know. Yeah, we all, we did a self-love boot camp. And one of the things that was so profound for so many of them is the power of community and the power of sharing and the power of stretching yourself by doing things that you are afraid of doing. It's so powerful. Everybody expanded and grew amazingly. It blows my mind every time I see it. Amanda says, facing the fears is liberating. Absolutely, yes. And Ida says, you are always on the path. Yes. Alyssa says, this is so true. I've done tons of work and I have setbacks all the time. I need clarity. I have learned that I'm not aware or clear on our own. Only know that because I keep reaching out, we must support each other. You get to. Oh my gosh. Kim says, I have been working on myself since forever, and I too am working on this healing journey, and the things I have worked on years ago have come up again. I do resonate with this, love it. So I want to say something about this as well. It's not only that you keep doing the work, there's a totally different level of inner work. I get a lot of people come to me and say, I have done a lot of work, I've done this and I've done that, and it's great, it got them to a certain point. However, to go deeper, you need to find someone who has been there. A coach, mentor, teacher can only take you as far as they went. So, deep transformation, deep healing and transformation means diving deep. And you usually don't dive deep from here right away down there. If you go, if you are a new diver or you start to snorkel and you want to see something beautiful and you start to snorkel underneath the surface and you see beautiful fish here and you feel kind of like comfortable. And then your next step is maybe to do a diving course, scuba diving course. And this is a metaphor. It doesn't mean you have to scuba dive, obviously, right? And then you dig a little deeper or you dive a little deeper. Maybe it's 40 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet. And then it takes a while until you feel comfortable. And it's beautiful and scary at the same time. You see your first shark. You might get a fright. And then there's another level. And only someone who's been there so deep can actually guide you and hold the space for you. So for all of you that have those thoughts of, oh my gosh, I've done so much work already. First of all, erase those from your vocabulary, because every time you say that, it actually blocks you from going deeper, because the energy follows attention. It always says like, oh my God, I should be somewhere else. I've done this already. Erase that from your vocabulary. Drop it. And see it as a beautiful, or maybe you don't see it as beautiful at the moment, and I get that. However, see it as a surrendering into the process, surrendering into the ocean. Not a fighting. You don't know what's going to come up out of the depth. Were you ready? And you get what you're ready at. Like when people come to me and say, oh, Sonia, I've done so much work. And I say, great. So you're ready for more. That's why you come to me, because that's the person I attract. And if you wouldn't have done all of that before, you wouldn't be ready to dig deeper now. Does that make sense? I hope it does. What else? Have to go. Yeah, that's okay. Thank you for reminding me that it's okay for my clients to have pain, and sometimes they need to feel it to heal it. Jody, yeah, thank you for saying that too. So true for any healers, for any coaches, for family members. Like when we have a hard time dealing with our own pain, we don't want anyone else to deal with pain. However, going through pain is part of it. And yet sometimes it's, hey man, I was in so much pain. I was calling my healers all the time. I was a pain in the neck. But I was also just like, oh my God, I don't know what else to do. So, and at the same time, while I was doing that, I knew it's my responsibility. And I'm going to be okay and I will do whatever it takes. And obviously I'm totally fine now. Totally fine. Even better than before because I cleared something that was a layer of something that I have been working on for so long that was still there attached. It's like an attachment. I thought I wasn't live anymore and talking to the wall. Do you guys still see and hear me? Let me know. Yeah, okay. So it's like an attachment. It can be a spiritual attachment, can be a physical and emotional, frozen emotion or something. However, there was still something attached in me. Okay, sometimes. Thank you, Ida. There was still something attached to that 16-year-old girl. I'm 47 now. And I had still a layer of unforgiveness and unworthiness from the 16-year-old in. So for me, going through pain in order to release and become free of that, it's totally worth it. So worth it. Hi, Shannon. Amanda's still here. Okay, fantastic. Kim says, I'm seeing the stuff I have done coming back up from the past. I have been able to handle better and it's more serene and peaceful. Yeah, exactly. That the stuff comes up when you're ready to heal another layer. So instead of judging that stuff that comes up, instead of fighting it, instead of condemning it, and instead of doing all of that, see if you find a place in your awareness that says, this is coming up for healing. This is an opportunity for me to release something that is still operating in me, that's preventing me from me to be fully out there. Yeah? Okay. So I have so much more to say, and I will. And I can't wait to see you again. And let me know if you have any specific questions around it. I'm happy to stay, just a few more minutes. And if you don't have any particular questions, share something. Dare to share something right now, right here. And it doesn't have to be the most vulnerable piece. However, share, show up. I know there are so many of you watching and not making any comment. That's totally okay. There is no judgment or anything. I love you, anyone who's watching this. And yet I know the power of daring to show up and be seen. Even if it's only a hello that you've never said before. Even if it's sharing something as simple as, I can relate to that. There's a body part in I have something in my body that I'm still ashamed of. Share something. Dare to be seen. Amanda is saying, I tried rebury something that came up for me, but it wouldn't stay buried. I'm getting better at this. Yeah, very great, Amanda. We can try. And if it doesn't come directly, it will hit us in some other way. It will hit you in your relationship. You will self-sabotage in ways you don't even connect the dots. That's so funny. You don't even connect the dots that something that happened in the past might run your show right now in your business, in your workplace, in your relationship, with your children. You might not connect the dots right away, but anything that you try to bury will haunt you in some way and will come up in some way. So instead of letting that happen, face it straight on. And here's the truth. You most likely are not able to face it straight on yourself. That's why I always say work with someone. I don't care if you work with me or someone else. I'm not attached to it being me. I'm attached to you doing the work with someone who can get you where you want to be. Because if it would be so easy, everybody would do it and you would have done it a long time ago. And it's a great thing. It's nothing bad. I'm in love with inner work. Inner work works. Inner work works. And facing your demons, facing your darkness, facing your pain is great. It's a doorway to freedom. Getting so passionate about it right now. Okay, Amanda says, that's it. Exactly what happened. Dots connected now. Fantastic. I'm happy for you. Okay, so if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to finish the Soul Infused Monday today by sharing one of my poems from the book You Can Heal the World. I'm going to take a sip of water first. And I would really love to hear from you. And if you're not open to share openly here, because I get that, send me a message. Tell me your story. How does it resonate with you? What's your story about your own life, about your own body, about you being a woman or a man? Kim is saying, yes, I'm now in love with inner work too. Yeah, I love it, Kim. Such a pleasure working with you. I love it. So obviously I will share more, and I looking forward to seeing you next Monday. I have a poem for you today that's called Freedom is Your Life. I think it's all about freedom, and the more you heal, the more detached you are, the more freedom you experience, the more you know about your energy, because everything is energy and we are all connected through energy, the more freedom you experience in your life. And this poem will... I just lost you guys. I don't know why. I got you back. Keep stalling. I will have to watch the replay. I'm challenging to quite chemical dependency. Okay. So I'm going to finish this up quickly. I hope you still see me. I don't know what's going on. I'm here. Kim is still there. Okay. Good. So, I'm going to leave you with this today. Freedom is your life. From the book You Can Heal the World. In the darkest of moments, when we feel lost and ashamed, there is hope, there is love, there's a doorway to freedom. By embracing your darkness, you allow it to be, and it's this very moment that it's setting you free. In the moments of fear, of despair, and of anger, there's hope. There's love. There's a doorway to freedom. By accepting it all without judgment and blame, you release the vibration of self-hatred and shame. In the moments of sadness, overwhelm, and disease, there is hope. There's love. It's a doorway to freedom. Tune inside, take a breath, give it space, then let go. Touch the beauty within, and your essence will grow. Take a nice deep breath, connect, tune in deep within, and let your essence grow. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Have a fantastic week. And I will see you Monday again for a new episode on Soul Infused Monday. Much love.